Welcome to Northwest Digital News. We are here at the Interface Seattle 2018 conference, and my special guest is Jeffery Graves. Now, Jeffery, this is the first time we've had a conversation with a professional hacker.
Oh.
We got the hacker on the show.
Security audits.
Yes. So if you were on the, you call it the white side or the black side, but if you were this guy on the black side, you could potentially be companies' worst nightmare, couldn't you?
Well, white hat and black hat is kind of a term between, where someone's loyalties lie. I mean, are they someone who wants to take control for malicious purposes, or are they somebody who wants to, hey, I found a way in, let's patch that and help out? So, yeah, I mean, a black hat can really do a lot of damage.
So you mentioned you didn't want to get into the specifics of how you became the professional hacker, but you mentioned that you were big into gaming as a youngster. What influences did that have on you?
I'd say with gaming, it was about, I bought a game and I wanted to be able to do something the game wouldn't allow me to do, so I just found a way to circumvent that and do what I wanted. And
Bingo.
That's kind of what got me interested in this.
You found your way through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that led you into doing hacking on a professional basis. Now, you've actually done seminars or presentations for the IRS, for other organizations throughout the United States. Talk about that a little bit, because you've been educating both on a government and a private level on how organizations can protect themselves from people that are on the wrong side of this issue.
Yeah. It was enjoyable. I did a couple of events for the IRS, Franchise Tax Board, California Society of Tax Consultants, so a lot in that specter. It's who you meet, right?
Yeah.
But it's been enjoyable. I've met a lot of really cool people in it, and I don't really have any regrets with doing any of that. It's crazy how fast everything has taken off for me. I mean, I don't look like much, but...
You've done a great job, though. You've used the skill. You know what, Jeff, you actually remind me of my son Clark a lot, because I've shared with people before here on the show that he was a very active gamer when he was a youngster. I told him that he was wasting his time and he needed to be spending his time elsewhere. But then he got out of high school, went on to school for computer science, landed a terrific job right out of high school, or right out of college, rather. And part of the reason is they sent him a couple of projects, programs, and said, hey, open these up and tell us what's in them. And you get an hour for each one of them. And he calls me after he got the files and he goes, hey, after I open these, should I just send them in as soon as I'm done with them? I said, sure, why not? Well, it was like 15 minutes. He had gone through both of them and sends them in. So they were giving him 2 hours. He did like in 15 minutes. And essentially their feedback was back to him is, you weren't supposed to be able to open those up. The fact that you did, and in the time frame you did, you need to be working for the good guys. So, very, very interesting that there's some, little bit of, I understand a little bit of where you're coming from. There are these hacker conventions that take place around the United States. Have you been to any of those?
I have been to a couple. Most of them, the ones that I've been at, are smaller. But you have DEF CON, you've got ShmooCon, you've got a lot of those. And it's a collection of the odd ones that decide they want to get together and talk about security. And you get people who are white hats and people who are black hats, and just people who are interested in security. They can share ideas, it's just like-minded people. So
you could very potentially be sitting next to somebody who's there for the so-called wrong reasons. But what's the benefit to you, somebody who's going there and you're really trying to help protect organizations? And specifically, before you answer that, actually go into sharing like what you do. Like when you actually mentioned that you work with the organization's attorneys or lawyers, and then what is that next step? Beyond that, what are you doing to help the company improve on their own security?
First, you have to establish what I like to call the get-out-of-jail-free card, and that is the contract that you build with with a company.
Yep.
And that contract basically says, what is the scope of your work? What are you going to be doing? What systems are you going to be touching? What hours? What time period? All of that is outlined so that they're not just getting hit out of the blue, and you're not just somebody who's going to spend your life in jail.
So they know you're coming when you come.
Yep.
And you get in anyway.
Sometimes just the CEO. The employees may not know, so you do have that risk, and that's why you carry you carry all your paperwork in your back pocket. I like to put mine in a Ziploc bag because I want to be able to not spend a night in jail and wait for them to look for it. So.
Exactly. So your task then, and this is how, to me, this is really interesting because somebody who is illegally hacking into somebody and for the purpose of creating malicious damage or financial reward for themselves is doing this at any hour of the night, no heads up, nothing. So in your situation, you actually you've signed a contract, the client has a heads up, you break in anyway.
I tell them I'm going to attack them. Yeah. That's basically what it is. We've established that as a, they know when to expect me, but that means there's more challenge with it. But you do kind of want to mix it up where, maybe the CEO knows, but he doesn't notify his regular IT staff. So, because you don't want to make it where they can go in and make preparations especially for you, because in real life, someone's going to attack when they're going to attack. It's not scheduled.
For random reasons.
So that's how you get a good test to make sure you're verifying, that it's actually secure rather than just, saying it's secure, which is common.
Have you ever had situations where you're in the process of launching one of your attacks and you're like, wow, these people inside know I'm here or know what I'm doing? Do you ever have that situation happen?
The goal is to not, though. You don't want them to realize you're there. You want to be able to, spoof your IP address, hide yourself in some way, and then something called persistence, where you want to make a back door so you can have that for a period of time. Oftentimes, you just wear a shirt that says like IT and IT support, walk in and say, "Where's your server room?" And they say, "This way, sir," and they let you go right back there. You plug something in and go home, and then remotely you own everything. So the social engineering and the physically being there, talking to them about it, that is one of the bigger, I'd say that's more of a scary thing, and it's not something that is technical at all. It's just planning through what you're going to do and coming up with ideas on the fly. And I really enjoy that part of it. It's got that, kind of could get caught type thing. It's fun.
Yeah.
It is fun.
Catch me if you can.
But I'm doing it with the right permissions to do it.
That's correct. Well, I think that's interesting that you mentioned that you just walk into an organization, with your IT badge. Is it common that they just escort you back there to their computers?
Yeah. Actually, it's common to even make a phone call and indirectly ask for the password and have them give you all of the credentials or whatever you needed. Oh, hey, this is Jim from IT department. Hey, we're noticing some problems from your computer. Could you give me have them read off whatever information you needed? And they say, oh, yeah, let me help out. Because it's human nature to be helpful.
Sure.
Which is terrible that somewhat I'm exploiting that, but I'm doing it for the good reasons.
Incredible stuff for people to know. So from the line of work that you do, what advice would you give to companies and organizations? We're sitting actually in the midst of a interface conference, and there's all kinds of providers here that provide security to try to prevent guys like you from getting in.
Exactly.
So what advice would you give to business people who are very concerned about security, and knowing what you know, what would you tell them?
I'd say there's a lot of companies that make somewhat baseless claims. So if you say, oh yeah, we cannot get hacked, it's probably something you want to be careful with your verbiage, because if you do get hacked, that kind of kills a bit of your credibility. Rather than that, say, we are taking these steps to make you more secure, because there's no guarantee in security. Given someone has enough time and resources, say a government, they're going to break it. They're going to break in, they're going to own the whole system. And the biggest thing is paying attention to updates. So, if there's a Windows update that came out, make sure you're on top of that. And that you communicate with your IT staff too. Because your IT staff is really going to be the ones that are going to catch these things, or at least you'd hope to. A lot of these are great solutions, and I'm not trying to downplay anybody here.
Right.
It's just make sure that you're legitimately doing what you say you're going to.
What would you say to business owners who have, whether it's Windows version 10 or canned software that's on their systems, and they're going, we're protected?
Well, I'd probably suggest that they do more training. I think that people at a CTO or CEO level, they really do need to have, they don't have to be the tech expert. But what they do need to have is at least an understanding of what the potential pitfalls are. So have an idea of, this is two-factor authentication, and that's really a big thing. You need to know what your job is. But a lot of people kind of move through levels based more on time rather than, I've learned these things. Now I'm the head of security. Well, you're the head of security because you've been there 10 years, not because you know anything about security.
That's correct. Great point.
I may be making people upset right now.
No, that's actually a really valid point. Because I was actually at a seminar with a well-known gentleman years ago. If people remember, like the series about if Japan can, why can't we? That was actually done by Dr. Edwards Deming. And I remember I was at this large conference where a bunch of CEOs and people were there. And one of the guys gets up and starts challenging Deming on a given point. And he says, I rest this on my 20 years of experience in this field. And Deming goes, how much did you learn about what you're doing beyond year one? Because it's very likely that's 1 year of experience 20 times over.
Yeah.
And the whole room was like, whoa. But yeah, it was a very valid point that just because you've been there doesn't mean you actually really know what's going on.
And this field changes so much. I mean, I have to study nonstop to just stay up with what's current and what's common. Because, again, maybe somewhat it's like I'm doing research right now because I may be attacking, and these may be some of the infrastructure that I'm going to go against. And, they're great people that I've talked to so far, but things change. And cloud, artificial intelligence, using pattern-based recognition to look for signatures, all of those things are the direction everything's going to head. It kind of has to go there. Because we're getting to the point where servers can do so much. And I am in a research and development project with a company that I can't say specifically what they're going to do. Do my little plug here. They're IOXO Cloud.
Right.
There's some cool products that will be coming out fairly soon.
And is that the website that you recommend if business out there have questions for you, the professional hacker? Do they go to IOXO Cloud? Is that the website you'd like them to go to, or where?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would be the best method. And again, we're working on the website because we got money's being spent on the product. So we haven't gone live yet. So
if you're not interested in doing business with Jeffrey, he'll just hack in and do business with you anyway. No, I'm just kidding. That would be a bad deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'd have to put on the black hat instead of the white
exactly.
hat.
And just one thing I want to make clear is not every hacker wears a hoodie over their head and sits in the corner of a dark coffee shop.
That's the graphic you see all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you would spot that guy a mile away.
That's right.
You want to look the part, be a nice guy, get to know people. And that's where the social engineering comes in. Hey, how's it going? You want to be personable.
Walk in the door with an IT badge and say, I'm the IT guy, let me into your computers. And
true.
Yeah, and a big chunk of people go, there's my computer room, have at it.
Oh, exactly.
And just basically turn over the lock and key to you. Well, what an interesting conversation, and the first time we've had a hacker on Northwest Digital News. We'll have to have some ongoing conversations, so make sure we exchange contact information here after the show. Special thanks to everybody who joined us here on the broadcast on Pinterest, on Twitch TV, YouTube, and of course our Facebook pages. I'm Kevin Hunter. This is Jeffrey Graves, our professional hacker. Till next time, take care.